With profound humble gratitude and love to all venerated enlightened masters, we bow to the Almighty in soulful gratefulness for gifting us with their holy blessed presence. May all beings be awakened by their divine grace.
Part 4 of 4.
Etc.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Mahatma Gandhi ji, the father of India and my moral guru, said, "Truth and non-violence are as old as mountains." I have nothing new to tell the world.
Please stay with us to enjoy this illuminating Congress.
I feel blessed that I was introduced to this lifestyle years ago by Dexter. I prefer to eat mostly raw or living food. The benefits for me are increased energy, a slowing of the aging process, and I have none of the diseases like hypertension, heart disease, and diabetes that many people my age seem to get. Coretta Scott King, vegan.
Today's program will be presented in English with subtitles in Arabic, Alaxis, also known as Vietnamese, Chinese, English, French, German, Hindi, Hungarian, Indonesian, Korean, Mongolian, Persian, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, Thai, and Ukrainian or Uranian. Gordiebra is a greeting in the Svalbard archipelago, which means "Are you doing well?" in Norwegian. I am Inger. The humble Svalbard residents pray for the people of this world to awaken to the detrimental effects that animal people flesh eating has on the peace and harmony of this world and to quickly turn vegan. The Svalbard archipelago is in the Arctic Ocean between Norway and the North Pole. Its population of approximately 3,000 people live in Spitsbergen, one of the region's 9 main islands. As Norway's northernmost region, Svalbard is mostly untouched and offers a vast landscape of tundra, ice-covered fjords, mountains, and glaciers. During the long winter months, its skies become magically aglow with the celestial northern lights. With 7 national parks and 21 nature reserves, more than 60% of Svalbard's land is protected. This includes vegetation, which is a small but valuable part of the region's fragile ecosystem. The animal people kingdom of Svalbard consists of the reindeer, the Arctic fox, whales, seals, and the king of the Arctic, the polar bear. It is prohibited to injure, kill, or even disturb any of these animal people. Svalbard helps preserve international seed diversity in its hosting of the Global Seed Vault. This cold storage area contains some 4.5 million seed samples from around the world. Svalbard residents are cheerful and hospitable. Each year, they welcome thousands of Arctic cruise ship visitors whose tours offer an understanding of the area's vulnerability to climate change as well as an appreciation of its rare beauty. In December 2010, the first ever Middle East Vegetarian Congress was held at the Dubai International Exhibition Center, with the public invited to engage in an interactive exploration of the plant-based lifestyle, organized by the Middle East Veg Group, or MEVEG, supported by the Middle East Natural and Organic Product Expo 2010, and endorsed by the Dubai Health Authority of the United Arab Emirates. The event provided 2 days of seminars, workshops, and video telecasts with experts from around the world, along with rejuvenating veg cuisine. In addition, Supreme Master Ching Hai, vegan, was specially invited to speak via live video link on being a vegan, an environmentally sustainable food choice, followed by a question and answer session with attendees and the launch of the Arabic edition of the international best-selling book, The Birds in My Life, which was already sold out pre-launch. The Birds in My Life was printed by United Printing and Publishing, a subsidiary of Abu Dhabi Media Company or ADMC, owned by the government of Abu Dhabi.
Be veg, go green to save the planet. Yo!
We now invite you to join us for part 26 of the conference titled The First Middle East Vegetarian or MEVEG Congress, held in the city of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates on December 7, 2010 with Shankar Narayan, vegan, the founder of the Sattvic Vegan Society, who will discuss the difference between vegetarianism and veganism and the principles behind veganism.
So, it seems to me that our food is naturally selecting us out. The greed for money and the greed to make food is naturally meaning that none of us are going to have great-grandchildren. Because if we eat this, it's going to stop us from having the kids. Now, the reason I put this fish in and this tomato is, I know there are different types of vegans and vegetarians, and I was a vegetarian for a long time, and I didn't eat fish. Any of you vegetarians eat fish? Now, if this fish gene is in the tomato, is that tomato still vegetarian? You say no. Why? It's a tomato. If I put a pork gene in the tomato, is it halal? I'm not God. I'm not going to start playing God. I don't think we should be doing this. This is the biggest experiment we did in mankind. Nuclear bombs can end mankind. GMOs, I think, will end. And I say I think, because all the evidence I've studied over the years means if we really go full out and do this, there's not going to be many left of us. It is absolutely the worst thing that can happen to our planet. This is what corn was grown for. Today we make biodiesel out of corn. In the US, a lot of corn goes into making biodiesel so we can drive our trucks. But the original promise was that we're going to save all the starving people in Africa. By making corn into diesel, I don't think they're fulfilling their original mission. By making bags out of corn, what happened to feed the world? It's feed the monetary greed is what's happening, not feed the world. Soybeans, Roundup Ready soybeans, it's a type of soybean, it's very popular. What was it designed to be? More nutritious? It was designed to be pesticide resistant. Now the soybean is pesticide resistant, and when the soybean is pesticide resistant, you can spray it with more pesticide. And if I remember correctly, the maximum allowed residual pesticide in soybean in some countries today is 20 times higher than it used to be. That means some years back we were only allowed to have 5% of the residue we're allowed to have today. Why are we suddenly allowed to have 20 times the amount of residue? Strange to me. These are DVDs which can help you get more information. The World According to Monsanto, Seeds of Deception. There's a website, thecampaign.org. These are campaigns. This is information source for you to get about GMOs. There's this ever-long discussion. Is it right? Is it wrong? There's a lot of money behind it. I've given you my opinion. Most of what I gave was based on the research that I have done. I haven't taken everything to lab. I don't have factual proof. I urge you to read about it and see what's going on and make up your own opinion. And that's about all. Any questions?
Any questions?
Hi, thank you for a very nice speech. And I have a question regarding legislation in UAE. Is there any legislation in place so we can know when we buy the product, is it GMO or is it not GMO?
To my knowledge, we're actually not supposed to have GMOs in the UAE. At the same time, I know there was an article in the Gulf News a few years ago where Greenpeace came here and tested products and found that many of the corn chips and other products which contain corn and soybean on the shelves in the supermarket did have GMOs in it. So the fact is the products are here. I'm not really clued up 100% on the legislation. I can say one thing. If a product is organically certified, then it's not allowed to have GMOs in it. So the only way, unfortunately, today to guarantee that it's GMO-free is not to buy a conventional product, but to buy an organic product. There's been a lot of discussions in Europe and around the world that GMO products should be labeled. It's actually been turned around where the lobbies have said, well, you know what, why don't you label everything that's non-GMO? So there's a lot of argument going around, but if you buy certified organic products, they are all non-GMO.
Thank you.
Can you tell us something about your Organics Foods and Cafe, where you source your food from?
We source our food directly from farmers when it comes to produce. So I go to the farms myself. If you check on the website, you can see me on those farms. I buy from family farms. I buy from family businesses. I would say 95% of our products are from family businesses, not from multinationals. We don't buy from publicly listed companies because we believe that the drive there for a publicly listed company is to give the shareholders a return. It's not to provide the best nutrition possible. So we buy from 350 suppliers around the world, farmers direct, companies direct. I think there was a question at the back.
Yeah, my question regards to mislabeling. We had in Germany, in the beginning of this year, found that in biotextiles were found a lot of GMO cotton, and it all was labeled as bio or organic. So, okay, in Europe there are many private laboratories offering GMO analysis, but how it is here in the Emirates? Are there any private laboratories? Is there any?
I wouldn't know. I do test my product randomly, and I send it to India and I send it to Germany to get tested. I don't necessarily test for GMOs. I test for pesticides. And it's a little bit difficult when you test for pesticides. You have to know which pesticide you're testing for. So it's like a needle in a haystack. So what happens is I test it by labs specialized to see if things are organic and not, and they test for families of chemicals. They test for families of chemicals and families of pesticides. So to answer that, is there a lab to test GMOs here? I don't know. That's why we buy from family industries. That's why we buy from farmers direct. That's why we buy from small companies we can trust.
Any more questions?
Yeah, how much of your product sourced locally as compared to sourced from abroad? Because obviously the carbon footprint, the distance that things take to come to us can sometimes outweigh the environmental benefit of organics.
Okay. We live in the middle of a desert. There's not much water here. What I can tell you is that the farms I buy from, some of them are actually carbon negative, meaning they compost and they put carbon from the atmosphere back into the soil. And we have rings, which we say, we've taken the globe and we've put rings around Dubai. And we've said 2 hours, 5 hours, and we limit what we get from far. So if it's very far, we won't air freight it. If you go around the supermarkets, you can find spinach from Chicago, or spinach from California here. We don't have anything from the US air freighted. We don't air freight vegetables from Australia. We bring them in from Egypt, from India, from Uganda, as close as possible. And if you now look at the carbon footprint for desalinated water and the carbon footprint of air freighting a cucumber in from Egypt and the amount of water you need to grow the cucumber, you will come to a calculation saying that growing a cucumber locally with desalinated water, which is made from fossil fuel, has a higher carbon footprint than air freighting it from Egypt from a farm that's growing it biodynamically, which is what we've done. We've done that calculation, and that's how we buy. There are very few farms. They're growing more and more. I was on a farm 2 weeks ago, which was pumping groundwater and sending it through a reverse osmosis. I'm not really a friend of that because there's not much water where that farm is. And they're just starving off the left off water that's there. There are a few programs we do buy from where we find it's sustainable and it's around this season. So yeah, we buy a little bit. But how much percent is it? I can't tell you now. It's not going to be a great number. At the peak, it's probably 20%.
Any more questions? Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing all this with us. A little token of our appreciation.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Thank you. I think if the Egyptians, the people from old Egyptian civilization were here in this era today, they would be very happy. Because, you know, they used to mummify their kings and everybody, right? They needed to do all that process and everything. Now things are so much easier. You know, when we die, our body stays preserved for so longer. You know the reason? Because we are taking in so many preservatives, so many chemicals that, you know, much later, I don't know, months later, we'd still be in the same place. Guys, come on. Every time you open up a bottle, a packet, or a can, be sure, if it's not from any organic place or whatever, there are apt to be chemicals in there. So just become more aware about your life. Start taking responsibility for your lives. Who else? You're the only one. We were born alone and we are going to die alone, right? And all the relationships and the loved ones that we make are excellent, but still we are responsible for our own lives and the lives of people around us. So on that note, we are going to be going for some juice and fruits, which is the break now. Thank you. The fruit salad was refreshing enough for everybody. And you're ready for our next session. Just like the morning has been quite exciting, I'm sure the rest of the afternoon will be very informative for some of us. Actually, the concepts which all our wonderful speakers are sharing with us, we already know, but I always quote, have you seen the movie Matrix by any chance? The Matrix? Yeah? Great. And I think my guru in Matrix is Neo. And in that he says, there is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. So we know what we need to do, but are we actually walking on it? So certain decisions need to be taken from us at some point in our life so that it goes to a next level. We have been doing fine till now. We are successful. We are still healthy, alhamdulillah. But we need to take certain decisions in our life. And for that, we have gathered all these wonderful speakers with us who share their knowledge, who share their experiences, their researches, etc.
If you are making war, you will never see the sun or heaven ever again.
Serene viewers, thank you for your presence today for the First Middle East Vegetarian or MEVEG Congress on Words of Wisdom. Please join us tomorrow for part 27 of this illuminating conference. Coming up next is Ukrainian or Uranian artists, champions of faith, beauty, and freedom. Part 1 of 2, right after noteworthy news. May divine light lead you on the path of virtue and compassion.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds. hell, not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/WOW.
I nostri programmi sono offerti in molte lingue. Consultate suprememastertv.com/schedule e suprememastertv.com/WOW